This Pitch Breakfast video is brought to you by Spangler & Agins, attorneys for Charlotte's startup community.
All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Christopher Duvall, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of ESTEEM. ESTEEM is an e-commerce platform that allows shoppers to shop from their favorite local boutiques and independent designers and have the items delivered to them the very same day. ESTEEM is also an easy-to-use and economical platform for boutiques to market and sell directly to their target audience. At ESTEEM, we're making the future of retail a reality today. So with the surge of e-commerce transactions and the decline of foot traffic in brick-and-mortar stores, many boutiques are forced to advertise on social media and sell online. The pains experienced with today's platforms are that they're oversaturated, reduce your engagement percentage, which leads to costly digital advertising expenses, and they also require the management of multiple platforms in order to generate traffic and convert leads. So taking this all into account, led us to create ESTEEM. ESTEEM is a free marketing tool that allows boutiques to sell directly to their target audience, all while allowing us to handle same-day delivery logistics. Once a boutique gets started with us and uploads a few items, we then automatically market those items to customers locally, most likely to visit and shop their clothing. Once a customer sees something that they like, they simply purchase the items directly off our website, and we send our courier service to pick up the items and deliver it to the customer within a few hours. ESTEEM is an all-encompassing platform designed to help boutiques automate their marketing efforts while reducing the number of platforms required to generate traffic and grow their business. The best part about ESTEEM is that we don't charge any subscription fee or any upstart charges, so boutiques are only charged whenever they sell something compared to normal digital advertising, where a boutique is charged regardless if they sell something or not, either through paid per click or pay per view. So the retail boutique market is a $22 billion industry with a few keys to their success being accessibility to shoppers and migrating to an online presence. ESTEEM gives them both. Our total addressable market for our launch site right here in Charlotte is about 90 million. So as I said, we're launching in Charlotte in early January with plans to expand rapidly to Raleigh and Atlanta and New York City in early spring of 2018. But there is a way for you to get involved in this journey. So we're looking to get warm introductions to additional stores and designers in the markets that I just mentioned. And we're also looking to raise $50,000 to fund our aggressive B2B and B2C marketing campaign, as well as make some additional product enhancements. Along with our product roadmap, we're going to break this down into 3 phases strategically, with the browse being first, allowing us to curate items from local boutiques for shoppers to come and view the items. And then we're going to move to the buy phase, which will integrate their inventory. And then finally, we'll actually move into that same-day delivery where we'll actually start making the deliveries. So with your help, we can make the future of retail a reality today. Thank you.
Thanks. One question that's just drilled. How much is this going to cost?
So we don't pay for any inventory. That's all managed by the boutiques, and we don't pay for the deliveries. The customer pays for the shipping, and that's actually contracted out through a third party.
But what, I'm trying to think of myself as a user. Okay, I go on ESTEEM. I somehow find it, because let's just take that out of the equation. Like how expensive it is for you to get an eyeball. Let's just take that out of the mix. Like somehow I saw this presentation and I'm going to check it out. And then I want to buy a pair of shoes. And then you're going to execute the delivery of that item on the same day. And you're going to charge me $195 for that? Or
So absolutely not. So our deliveries cost anywhere from $6 to $12, depending on where you live.
I don't see how you can make those numbers work at scale. And then also, what you're competing against is Amazon. I mean, Amazon is amazing. And so I just wanted to make that point. If you could address that.
Yeah, sure. So for Amazon, we're not focused on the mass merchandisers. We're actually focused on the small shop local, which is what we addressed with the oversaturation on selling on Amazon for some of these boutiques. They get lost in the thousands of pages. So we're creating that hyper-local experience where we actually curate the latest and greatest items for that customer to come and find what they're looking for instead of scrolling through 1,000 pages. So for our customers or our demographic who we're targeting, they're looking for that high-quality high-quality item that they can find at a local boutique that's unique and not something that they go on Amazon and just look for a blue shirt.
Sure. Okay.
So are you targeting a certain type of store?
Yes,
A certain
we're
vertical
targeting-
market? Like a certain category that would be interesting to one particular group of shoppers?
Sure, yeah. So we're targeting boutiques that have less than 15 stores. So we're not looking for mass merchandisers like your H&M's of the world.
Well, I think he's asking like apparel or like, I mean, that's a lot of the photography and imagery, right? You're asking about product category or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So clothing to start with, yes.
Yeah.
Like women's or men's or?
Women's and men's, yes, sir.
So is the value prop really the same day delivery then?
So the value proposition is
For the consumer, sorry.
For the consumer, it's finding that latest item. So we curate all the latest and greatest items in the area for that shop local experience.
Okay.
And then the same day delivery is just kind of added on.
Okay, so it's really the curation that's the value add. Okay.
Did you find anyone else like in this space, like doing this stuff already?
Yes, we do have some competitors in the space, but what we found is that they're targeting again on that national level, but we're focusing on that hyper local.
So it's interesting you have me on the panel on this because we actually.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, I know.
Somebody told me that.
Yeah,
Well,
so
yeah.
we got, like we can.
And I've
talk-
never actually been in a boutique. I don't know if you have. I'm gonna let Travis.
Old Mason doors here, like,
No,
He knows more and looks better.
So I think, we've been working at Castle on this problem for like 4 years. And we actually have investments in House Account as well as a new investment we made in a company called Shoptiques.
Okay.
And so, Shoptiques is doing about $6 million in revenue in this space, and House Account's a little bit smaller. But in this space, it's not easy at all. And we should just talk through all that.
Sure, yeah.
Go on and on.
More than that.
Yeah.
I think in
what-
terms of the pitch, I mean, it's like high level, and I think there's so many complications around this like space. It opens the door to like so many questions. And if the thing that we've run into with both those companies is that, the investors kind of look at it as like, hey, you're dealing with these SMBs, how do you make sense of all that? And smart investors, when they ask that SMB question, they know that underneath the covers, these boutique operators are not easy to work with, and this is kind of like a space that's really challenging. So I think you got to like build out the presentation to be a bit more specific about how you can actually make it work, how you compete with Amazon, what are the numbers around it, just get more details because
Yeah.
a smart investor will kind of see through this and be like, I don't see how this is going to work.
Yeah, I think and you know more about the space. I can only speak generally about this. As a class of software, I do agree that I think it can be complicated. I'm generally skeptical, I guess I'm kind of like that anyways, but I'm generally skeptical of software that solves an important problem for business that's free. I just, that is difficult for me to get my head around because basically where the greatest value is the place you're not monetizing, right? I mean, it certainly has value to the consumer, same day delivery curation, but like the value of that compared to the first problem that you stated, which was, hey, boutiques have to manage Instagram and Facebook and all this stuff and they can't do it, and oh, by the way, it's free for them. Like, that's a really complex problem for them and yet it's free, so I don't know that that's right or wrong. I just, generally when I see that, I'm always skeptical of it because, monetizing the software is where the greatest value for a company like this will be longest term, I would think.
Well, I mean, I think you're right, like giving it away for free, because what we've learned is none of these boutique operators want to pay for anything. And the Shoptiques founder had the best thing to say. She says, life just happens for a boutique operator. It just happens. Some days they're focused on this, some days they're not. It's just like stuff going on in the shop. It's never really, like software's in the bottom of the pile. Never really important. E-commerce is never really important. So the fact that it's free is key. Then the next step is like, if work effort equals sales for the shop owner and life just happens for them, they're going to measure you always on performance. Like, how much are you selling for me? Shoptiques has, I think, 6,000 stores, 1,200 are active on a monthly basis, and the average sales per store is pretty low. And so there's like a concentration, like any marketplace, of like 20% of the stores do most of the sales. And so everyone sort of counts the value prop of this kind of offering as like, how much are you selling for me? And if you're not selling much for them, they're not going to do any work. So you're in this like constant loop of like, how do I get them to post items on my platform, or do the work to do the integration to the POS, or do whatever, when there's no like direct correlation of sales. And that is the fundamental problem with this market that you got to think about how to solve. Shop owners, life just happens. They don't want to do the work. Therefore, you can't get the sales. Therefore, you can't get the performance to actually maintain the accounts.
So you're saying they do pay, but they pay on a transaction cost per sold
They
item
want-
rather than for the software itself?
They're totally willing to pay for sales,
So they'll pay for a margin on product. I see
but
what
you
mean.
can't get them to do the work to get the sales.
Yeah.
So that's a great point. So we actually do that work for them. We actually scrape their images and we scrape the data, we scrape all of their products, and we do that marketing for them.
Right. So that's a good learning. That's kind of the key lesson. But then like getting the scraping is kind of challenging too, because a lot of them have like different systems and a lot of them don't have websites, and it's just like this. You basically get into this like custom integration project everywhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's tough.
Audience question right there?
Yeah, I just want to mention, as a user of house accounts, well, obviously one thing that they're doing that I don't think house accounts do that is that targeted advertising for the 50 to help them get new customers. But I think that's a key as a boutique owner. That's a key
Yep.
difference.
And I would say if you can find a way to like do the advertising, that was one of the things the boutique owners another space they don't know about is like how to actually acquire the customer. So if you actually have the facility to sell something online, then it's like, how do you actually acquire the user? And maybe that would be a key point of differentiation, that it's like, hey, look, we're not about just the platform to sell and ship, we're more about how to actually acquire net new users.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Is there not pressure in this category from stuff like web-based POS systems and stuff? Like, I feel like I've gotten promoted to before and landed on what appears to be the result of e-commerce from like somebody's POS that's web-based. Like the ultra running store here in town I buy sneakers at, I'd land on pages that look like they've come, and I think they do come from their general POS system. Like, is this not beginning to be built into the back office of boutique retail, or?
Yeah, like Lightspeed and these other POS.
Yeah, Lightspeed's, I think, yeah.
So, but I don't know, I think, so what are you doing on the customer acquisition front, like the marketing side of things?
So right now what we're doing is we're targeting, so what we're doing is scalable, but we're going store to store, kind of bringing on boutiques, letting them know what we're doing. They're really excited about it.
Mhm.
And then for the B2C, the B2C, what we're looking to do is actually do targeted Facebook ads.
Mhm.
So Sterling and Scott, who's one of our
So who would pay for those Facebook ads?
we're going to bootstrap that.
Would the boutique pay for the Facebook?
No, we're going to pay for that. So we're going to bootstrap that.
So, yeah. So what was your point about like the direct to marketing?
I think most boutiques
Yeah.
don't know how to advertise.
Yep.
Just the lack of competency around that skill.
So I think, that's something they're doing, and I think that's something they could integrate into a
Yeah.
service later.
Exactly.
They're actually doing that.
Exactly. So maybe could you get the boutiques to pay for that? So you don't have to pay for it?
So we want to keep it free. We
Yeah.
want to generate the data for them to see that where these customers are coming from, because that's one of our value propositions, that it's free to use, it's easy to use, and allow us to do all that automation and marketing for you.
Yeah. So I think in general, like you had a nice presentation. It was very surface level. Obviously, it sort of exposes a lot of questions, and the more you can dive into those like specifics, that would be helpful to add a couple more slides of like, this is how we're gonna like make it all work.
That's fine. Can I ask just one more question before we end? So if you enter into a boutique relationship in this market, are they generally exclusive? Like if you go down to the folks that are making leather goods in Elizabeth, I like those guys, I forget their name, Keen Colson or Colson Keen, they're cool. Is that going to be an exclusive relationship in this category? Hey, I signed you up, so you're only going to sell through me? Or the companies that you're dealing with, are they competing with everybody else and everybody's kind of syndicating their inventory everywhere they can get space,
Yeah, for us, it's not exclusive. We're just looking at it as a window into their store. It's a free marketing tool for them to use.
Okay.
So it would be no different than trying to post your outfits or inventory on a different website. So for us, we're just another marketing tool for them to use.
All right, Chris,
Cool.